after directing Aggro Drift, a film that some people think is this new genre and other people think it is the dumbest shit ever, Harmony Korine is back with this new form of experimentation that he's been working on with his company Edgelord, with this second feature film called Baby Invasion. As stupid as that title sounds, I was very excited to check this movie out. So, let's get into it. So Baby Invasion is, once again, like Aggro Drift, a very sensory experience from Harmony Korine, where he's trying to combine video game imagery with the language of filmmaking. He has described Baby Invasion as being a first-person shooter game, which is a bit strange because you can't play it. It's presented in narrative form like a film. But anyway, I digress. This film is very bizarre and another whole new step from Aggro Drift. Aggro Drift, I think, actually looks like a normal movie compared to this. With that film, he experimented with infrared imagery. In this one, a lot of people aren't going to like this, but he's using a lot of AI imagery here. And to be honest, a lot of it looks like dog shit. It looks like exactly what you'd expect from AI. There are characters walking around with baby heads that are AI generated, or at least they very much look like that. And there's just a lot of things going on in terms of the screen. It's from a first-person perspective. It's like body cam footage of this first-person shooter game, really, where they're like doing heists and things of that nature, and they're robbing houses and holding these rich people hostage, but not really doing anything. It's just this really bizarre film, and it's very strange to even describe some of the ideas that are happening here. It is bonkers in so many ways, and it's very hard to recommend because of that. This is a film designed for people with the top tier, highest brain rot imaginable. Like, the AI images, the amount of things happening on screen, from a HUD to coins to all these digital things popping up at once, to a fucking Twitch chat looking thing on the left hand side of the screen that is happening throughout most of the film's runtime. And I would hazard a guess that that is probably AI generated as well, because I tried reading some of these comments as I was watching the movie. It was very hard to pay attention to both because there's so much going on in front of you. But a lot of them are just very generic comments. Some of them dive into memes and things that happened a little while ago. It already feels like an outdated product before it even came out. And it goes into a lot of problems that I have with filmmakers trying to make something about video games or directly adapting a video game, is that they don't really seem to understand the medium, which is very strange for Harmony Korine as someone who has spent time with some very famous and top-tier game developers like Hideo Kojima, a modern master in terms of video game design. That is the one person you would want to talk to when you're making a movie about video games, and then he churns out this shit. I mean, it's such a bizarre experience, and I have always had this notion with these movies, and I definitely had it with Aggro Drift, where I can't really defend it. On a narrative level, they're very stupid and surface level. They don't work very well, but there's something very inherently fascinating with these movies, and I think it is because Harmony Korine is attempting something very unique and different with the form, and I do appreciate that. But to me, Baby Invasion goes one level too far, where it's just dumb a lot of the time, and I don't really feel like anything happens. The one big thing that I think they made so immersive with video games is that there's two versions of this movie, and you have to purchase them both if you want to see them, and I found that really annoying. So I purchased this directly from the Edgelord site, like I did with Aggro Drift. But this one, it says, do you want the pure version or the impure version? And at first I had no idea what that meant, and I thought, well, the pure version sounds like what the filmmakers intended, so I'll go with that one. Turns out the only difference is the impure version has this ASMR narration, which was presented at the screening at Venice and probably would have been the version of this movie I would have wanted to see. But seeing reviews from people that have seen that version, that is the only real difference. The film to its credit, can communicate the whole narrative without any narration or anything going on. It's the only thing overwhelming about it is the amount of things on screen. And I guess the whole purpose of Baby Invasion is to kind of commentate on going down the rabbit hole in a genre, and I guess how video games can desensitize one to violence and things of that nature. It's hard to tell for sure what the fuck Harmony Korine is trying to communicate here, because it is such a mess, but that's kind of what I was deciphering from it. You may have your own interpretation, and I would love to hear it. But yeah, to be honest, man, this thing is just a big troll fest. It's very silly and just wasn't as enjoyable as something like Aggro Drift, in my opinion. And then you have this score from Burial, which I didn't really care for, if I'm being honest with you. Sure, in its own context, in a nightclub or something like that, I'm sure it sounds excellent, and it is the type of music that you would hear in a nightclub all the time. But for a movie, it just starts to get annoying after a while when you're just hearing loud techno music blaring throughout most of this film's runtime, where all these things are happening on screen. Don't really feel like it was as memorable as the score for Aggro Drift, which was a score I actually really enjoyed. In here, it just doesn't work. And that's the big thing with Baby Invasion. It takes that next step and does this new experiment, which drew me to this movie. But yeah, there's really nothing here in this 80-minute runtime that I'm going to really remember, except for the bizarro imagery of this film and the strange use of AI. We have to talk about it. I mean, it's a very controversial topic when it comes to filmmaking. And Harmony Korine has been someone that has defended the use of AI in terms of making films. And the stuff he does in this movie really don't justify its existence in terms of creation for me. I mean, you could have paid the most bare bones, cheapest artist on the planet, and they could come up with some imagery that is better than some of the stuff I saw in this movie. Some of the things in here look like they were generated in Gary's mod. There were things in here with the AI that just look like something you would have seen on Facebook 2 years ago. I mean, it's just distorted. It's so clearly fake and so clearly AI. It has that disgusting smoothed over feel to it, where the images are still kind of moving and distorting. It looks ugly, and there's this bunny rabbit that continues to show its face throughout the film that is clearly made from AI or built in the PS4 game Dreams. I mean, this the people that were developing this, I want to know what drugs they were taking when they were making this, and who Harmony Korine and the Edgelord production team paid to create these images, because I don't know, man. I see things like this on the internet all the time, and it doesn't work well for this movie at all. To its credit, there are things about Baby Invasion that I do like and will make me get drawn to whatever Harmony Korine does next with these weird genre films. They're fascinating. They're very unique. I have not seen a film like this before, and yes, it's stupid. Yes, it's difficult to recommend. But at the same time, if you could manage to watch this movie for free, or at least very cheap, I think it's kind of worth watching just for the gimmick of it all, just to see what he's trying to do here. And if Harmony Korine is a filmmaker that really works for you personally, this might work. For me, Harmony Korine hasn't done much to prove himself in my eyes. I haven't really liked a lot of his films. Aggro Drift is probably my favorite film from him, and I think that is extremely flawed. So my bar isn't very high with his movies, but I am somewhat supportive of him continuing this form of experimentation because they are unique. I think both his films, while being quite short, have really flown by. Like, I've seen 80-minute films that feel like an eternity, but these ones move at a really quick pace because I'm just intrigued the whole way through to see what Harmony Korine's trying to say with this movie, seeing whatever weirder image pops up next. There's something about it that keeps you consistently engaged. So I can appreciate that, even if what it's giving you is nothing of substantial value. It is a complete mess, and it can be very just stupid at times with this style, with edgelord merchandise being shown throughout the movie. I mean, there's so many things that just shouldn't work in a movie that you would outright hate. There's some of these tropes are just disgusting to see in a movie. And him kind of pushing those buttons is what's fascinating about it, I think. Look, Baby Invasion is not a good movie. I don't really recommend it to you, but yeah, there's something fascinating about it all. And that's probably why I'm going to give this a slightly higher score than what I should. I'm still going to give a high score. I think Baby Invasion overall is a 2 out of 5. I think it's a poor movie. And honestly, if it wasn't for some of these things that drew me in, I could easily justify this being a 0.5 out of 5 or something of that nature, because there's a lot of incompetence in this movie and things that are just plain dumb. But there is that little something there that keeps me drawn, and that's what makes these movies somewhat fascinating. And those are my thoughts towards Baby Invasion. If you've seen this movie, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I know Harmony Korine has a pretty passionate fan base, and I really wanted to meet this film on its own terms, as I do every single movie. But at the end of the day, this one didn't work for me like I wanted it to, but that will not stop me from watching whatever he does next, because I am very fascinated. I'm 2 movies deep now, and there's no point in stopping now. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours. Remember to like and subscribe. I'm very close to 1,000 subscribers now. Let's hit it, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.